So this is part two of the or lesson two of the strategic case study that we are doing. Last week we learned about the whole thing about strategy. We realized that strategy is actually what you do, the consistent activities that you are doing to actually achieve a goal, a long-term goal. We learned the purpose of strategy. We learned the importance of strategy and the levels of strategy, and we ended the class with the concept of strategic drift. So, from the strategic analysis diagram that I did for you the last time, we want to now start how to analyze a strategic question. So, when you are given a case, how do you go about it? And so, we start with strategic analysis, how to actually do the analysis. I know that when your pre-scene comes, it calls for analysis. We will help you do the analysis, but you should always have something at the back of your mind, because if a model appear in the pre-scene, you should get prepared because they may ask you questions around that. So we start the strategic analysis. And we said that in the strategic analysis, we start from where we are, which is the strategic position. Strategic position. So you must look at where the entity is. Of course, we want to be say a child says he wants to be a pilot. You must start analyzing the whole vision of a pilot from where he is. This morning, I was thinking about it. The environment within which we are actually sometimes shape our vision. Yeah, it shapes your vision. So for some of us, instead of saying we wanted to be something uh, big, we decided to say we will say we want to be a teacher. It was kind of somehow influenced by the environment within which we find ourselves. So we want to say that when we are talking about strategy, the strategy can be affected by both external and internal factors. Yes, the strategy is affected by both external and internal factors. We will look within, we will look out. So if you watch the video, when we are talking about some of the factors that we are dealing with, we say that we are going to talk about the environment. And the environment, there are there are two types of environment. If you watch the video, there was one macro environment, isn't it? And what did you hear? The second environment, what was the name? What was the name for the second environment? If you watch the video, well. What was the name?
Task environment.
Task environment. And the task environment is also called the industry environment. So that is that. We are also, in terms of analyzing your position, we will be dealing with the stakeholders. And when we get there too, I'll give you something small to watch. And we said that we will be looking at the capabilities, which is the resources. And lastly, culture. You remember all these things from last week. So today, we are analyzing the environment. The environment. So we said that there are two types of the environment. We have the macro environment. And if you listen to the video well, we are going to use the PESTEL to analyze it. The model for analyzing a macro environment is the PESTEL. Then when you come to the industry or the task environment, the model to use, did he mention it? Did you see it? Which model was that? Okay, I have a message in the Dropbox. You said what? Someone even said when she grows, she wants to no. All right. When she grows, she wants to sell a mutu. I don't think the same thing will be for a child. I don't think I can't see the other part, but a child who says that when she finds herself in an the same child will say that when she finds herself in another environment. Yes, that is what we are trying to learn. Okay, but guys, when you watch the video, what model did he tell you that we use to analyze the task environment?
Porter's five forces.
Porter's five
What is
forces.
5 forces?
So you see, you'll be given a case. You will have to use the appropriate model, Porter's five forces. Of course, there is another one when you are looking at the international strategies. When you are looking at the international strategies, what we will be using will be the Porter's diamond. Porter's diamond. So please, the models are very, very important. It is useful in answering your question. If you get this one, hallelujah. Anyway, the essence of doing this analysis, PESTEL analysis, is for you to be able to identify the threats. So you do the PESTEL analysis, but you find the threat and you also find the opportunities. These are external, all right? But when we come to internal, we will look at the strengths and weaknesses. So basically that is that. So today what we are going to do is to take our time to analyze the PESTEL. And so I've served you your notes and we are going to just go through it. There is a question we are all going to deal with together. That one too will cause for a breakout session because it's a lengthy reading. And you know, case is a lengthy reading. You know, I gave you an assignment on this one. I only received one person's answer. And I've told you this is how the whole thing starts. That's how it starts. Like you ignore the assignment, you ignore the assignment, you ignore the assignment. It becomes dangerous. Correct. Okay. So we are looking at the strategic position and we are looking at the environment. So this is the diagram. This is the diagram. So you see, this is the organization. I told you last week that when you get a strategic question is always about an organization. And so first thing first, you look at the organization. All right. You look at the organization. So what organization is that? So first, find out the organization. The first thing you look at in analyzing a strategic question is simple. You look at the organization. And when we say look at the organization, of course, we will be looking at the internal of an organization. But look at what type of organization it is. Because we have a limited liability company that is a private. We have a limited liability company that is a public company. We also have a non-profit making organization. All right. So look at what is the entity type. So it is very, very important. Look at it. Look at it. Because a private organization doesn't float shares, but a public organization does. So you see that when you are looking at even funding, you have a case to analyze. So please look at the organization. Look at the organization. Now, when you look at the organization, of course, you will be doing the internal analysis, but you also be doing the external analysis. You see, the external, we have the macro, we have the industry, the sector, and also your competitor is there with your market. So the competitor and the industry form the task, which we will discuss. But these are the layers of an environment. So you see what is on your screen. Right? That is the layer of an environment, the environment surrounding an organization. All right, so we are looking at the macro, and like I've already said, the macro is used to analyze the external, not just any external. I hope you heard him say that. So if the thing is talking about national, so you see, you have your own competitors who are both with you in an industry. So in an industry. But the company is also living in a nation. In a nation. And sometimes the company can cross to other nations. So this is the model that you need to look at. All right. So that is that. So when it comes to the industry, that is where you use the 5 forces. When it comes to the nation, we are using PESTEL. Then when the entity crosses his nation to go and be in another nation, which we call international, the company now become a multinational. So last week I told you that look at the company. Is it private? Is it public? Some private are even family owned. Is it non-profit making? Is it a multinational? So when you are giving a case, please don't jump this. Be careful. That's the first step. Because the state of the entity can determine how your exam vision or trend should be like. So when you look at the international level, that is where the potters, the diamond comes in. So you should know each and every situation and every model you have to use. You can't use you have an industry to analyze, then you are using PESTEL. It means you don't know what you are doing. Know when we apply a PESTEL. PESTEL is anything. I hope you saw that this one is give and take. He mentioned that to you, right? It's give and take. It's
Yes.
interrelation. But this
Yes.
one is just take.
Take, yes.
Yes. If you watched it well, yeah, that is how it is. All right. So basically, that is that. Why are we studying this whole thing about environment? Entities does not operate in a vacuum. They don't operate in a vacuum. They operate within an environment. An environment keeps changing. Environment is never the same. It keeps changing. Go to your village now and see if it is the same as it used to be. No, it didn't. All right. And there is the future for any organization in terms of its relationship with the environment is also uncertain. So becomes very important that the manager will sit down to analyze how the future will be in terms of environment. All right. So now you heard him explain the PESTEL to you. You heard him explain the PESTEL to you. So we won't spend much time. I just have to highlight some few places for you so that when we are solving the question and you are reading it, you will see which places to underline. All right. So that it will boost actually how you answer the question. Okay. So now we look at the PESTEL. We know what goes into the PESTEL: political, economy or economical. All right. We have the social, technological, environmental, and legal. All right. So that is that. It has 6 components. In the 6 components, like you see, we have the factors that include both. It includes both market and non-market aspects. So why are we using the PESTEL analysis? The PESTEL analysis will help us to forecast anything that is ahead of us with a certain degree of precision so that the entity can actually also adjust its ways to know what to do. All right. That is the essence of. So you will see some opportunities available so that you will know what to do. You will also see some threats so that you also know what to do. Okay. So that is the essence. All right. In fact, it is the easiest you can get if you get a case where you have to actually analyze with the PESTEL. It is actually the easiest you can get. Yeah. And please, this is strategic case study. Sometimes you have to bring in what do we call it? Common knowledge that you hear, like those things that you hear in the news. You have to bring it in correlation to the case that has been given to you. All right. So please, that is that. Okay. Now, we have you are going to use the PESTEL to forecast. And forecasting, the essence is to have some certain degree of certainty, all right, of what the future is going to be. So you are checking mega trends, then to see inflection points, all right. When we say inflection point, we are talking about where there is some kind, we call it a coverage of changes, all right. So it is going to tell you where the change is being directed to, all right. So that is that. So we are seeing mega trends. So things are changing, but inflection point actually give you a precision of where the things are changing towards. In Ghana, have you realized that all of a sudden the whole thing has changed to real estate? Have you seen that? Do you see that in Ghana? Like these days, do you see that? Especially in Accra here. Have you seen where the direction of businesses are gearing towards? Everybody wants to build. In fact, the landlord even wants to, instead of doing boys' quarters these days, they want to do it a self-contained apartment, so that they can get money out of it. Have you seen that?
Yes, yes.
That is the trend now. So inflection point is telling you the direction of how everything are going, and it also gives you weak signals. It shows you where there are weak signals too. All right. So basically, that is that. That is that. It's just understanding the system. You don't need to memorize any of these. So you just have to embrace and have a general understanding of it. All right. Then we have scenario analysis. You are going to use the PESTEL analysis to do if analysis, hypothetical analysis. So if it goes this way, what will be our strategy? If it goes this way, what will be our strategy? If it goes that way, what will be our strategy? So forecasting is with precision. Scenario analysis is just a hypothetical reasoning. All right. So basically that is that. So this is the PESTEL, and that is what we are trying to look at. All right. So that is that. So if God blesses you, you get a question. Like we said, look at the industry, because some industry have more political impact than others. That is a fact. Others are not. So when we look at the political, we are looking at a graph like this. So the role of the state and the civil society on your business. Political is looking at the role of the state and also that of the political. Could it also be for tax planning purposes? Which one are you referring to, please? If I can find out, could what also, so your question, what particularly are you referring to? All right. The real estate. Could real estate also be for tax planning purposes too? I don't know the perspective with which you are coming from, because real estate can be an inventory, not an asset. So people build it. It's an inventory business. All right. Yeah. So I don't know from the tax angle you are looking at. All right. Okay. So basically that is that. What is the impact of the states and the civil society, political? And civil society on your job. When we talk about civil society, we are talking about it includes social media and traditional media. The traditional media is what we call the radio stations and the TV stations. All right. So if you like, of course, you have it here. Political environment includes the tax policies, taxation policy, and we learned that in last Wednesday, how the fiscal policy can be engineered to affect a business, affecting disposable income. Do you remember all those things that we learned on Wednesday under the financial management aspect? All right. So the monetary policy, the fiscal policy, how it is. The monetary policy will be under economic. Fiscal policy is under political. So we are looking at your taxation, the government stability or instability, We are looking at changes in government, something like war, threat, and all those things. When you are reading a case and you find these things out, you have to highlight it as political points of view for your analysis. So that is that. That is that. Let's say you are reading a question and there is AFTA after, AFCTA, the after. It has to be political because it goes through parliament for ratification. So when that thing is happening, how will it affect the business in terms of their trading? If you look at the defense industry, you realize that, look at the positioning well. Here, if the state has a direct involvement, the direct involvement is in C high. If it is low to that is that. Political exposure, are you highly politically exposed or that? In every defense, the defense industry has high state involvement because it's more of terrorism, fighting, and all those things. So it's very high. When we look at the canal industry, we are talking about real estate. This one, the canal industry, is the real estate. Is the real estate. How many government owns real estate? How often? What they do is affordable housing, and which is not competitive because of the location. Yeah. So please, when we talk about these things, we are looking at what is the government ownership, state ownership in it. We are looking at state regulative power. So we are looking at the regulation, and is the state funding them? These are the things that I am looking at when I'm talking about a state involvement. Hotel industry, how often do you see the state involved in the hotel? So it's very low. It's very low. Food industry, because of FDA and things, there is a state involvement a little. All right. So that is that. So the politicians will go and be summoning the what do we call it? The FDA director and so on and so forth to come and answer questions. So there's a kind of a parliamentary queries also there. When you look at economic, like he said, you are looking at issues of inflation, exchange rate, and all those things. So we have industries that are just for the curve. The cycle is just 3 to 4 years. We call that one is driven by inventory adjustment, normal trading. But we have also those ones that are linked to capital investment. So the economic booming in terms of forex trading and all those things. Then we have the Kuznets, which is the real estate. People are investing in that. So please, the thing is that all these things have strategic implication. So we say avoid over investing during the peak, or let me give you this simple illustration. Right now it is evening and it is 7:10. It is getting darker. Is that not it? When did they start getting darker? From what time does the darkness start setting in? Yes. From what time? Is what? Let's say 6 o'clock. What time do you think the darkness will run up to?
5 a.m.
5 a.m. Okay. Is it 5 a.m.? Like 4, 3, 4 thereabout. Let's say 5 a.m. Now, if you're a business and you don't monitor this well, you say there is darkness, you want to sell torchlight. This is just an analysis. You want to sell torchlight. The best time to sell torchlight is here, when the thing starts. But you see, it is a cycle. You see, this is a daytime. So this is a daytime. So that is the best time when the day is coming, when the day is very high. The sun, the sun is very, like it's hot. You start selling torchlight to tell people evening is coming. You don't wait when there is at the peak of the darkness is the coming of a morning. That is the point we are trying to make. So if you think that everybody is at the peak of that business, and so you are also going there, very soon the cycle will turn. and you realize that you thought this business venture was booming, all of a sudden it's up. So you look for an avenue where it is a starter. That is it. The real estate, according to Kuznets, is 15 years to 25 years. Very soon, in 25 years' time in this Ghana, all those houses, they will become like a normal boys' quarters thing. Do you know that?
Yes.
Yes. So if you want to do anything real estate, now is the time. Now is the time. Because if it peaks too much and you think you are going to enjoy, I was watching QNet investors. I was watching one of the pastors in the foreign land. He's at Singapore. He said that in the Hebrew analysis, there is recessions every 7 years. Every 7 years. In fact, when he said that, I actually sat down to do the analysis because according to him, after every 7 years, the Jews, they have rest. On the 7th year, they have rest. And once they have rest, every person on this world, wherever you are on the continent, while they are having rest, you must suffer. From his biblical analysis point of view, that is it. So if I remember correctly, my eyes started opening to economic situations. I think that one will be in 2000. Yeah, 2000. There was a hit economically. And if you remember, Ghana went to HIPIC. Do you remember? Those of
Yes.
who were like your eyes were open that time. We went to HIPIC. In 2007, if you guys remember, that is where we changed our currency to 1 Ghana cedi is to $1. And the only way it happened was because there was economic recession in the whole world. I don't know if you remember, where banks
Financial
started
crisis.
collapsing and everything. So we did that. If you add 7 years, that will be how many years? 2014, right?
2014. Yes.
I don't remember that of 2014, but I remember the US whole thing. There was something like that. But as for 2021, who doesn't remember? Who doesn't remember 2021? So I don't know if those of you who are old, if you can go back to check. But I think there was another one in 2014. That is, yeah, around that time. So according to him, we should watch out for 2028. Yeah. So these are how the cycles, he analyzed the cycle. What do I mean? You have to analyze the cycle as a business. He is using scriptural paradigm as a Jewish person. All right. So that is what he is doing. Now we all know what happened in 2021, COVID and all, Russia war and all those things, and what is happening in the whole world and everything. All right. So that is that. The credit crunch, when was it? Is it 2014 or 2007? I think it will be 2007.
2008 or so, I think so.
Please come again.
I think it's 2008, the financial crisis.
Yes, between 2008 2007.
Yes.
You know, the Jewish calendar is not January to December. So it is in between. So 2007, 2008, like that.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that is how they are owned it. So it's in between. All right. So that is it. So if you're a business, you don't. So when you are reading the case, just be careful. Just be careful of how the industry is linked to. So he is saying that inventory-driven industries, it takes 3 to 4 years. So be careful. So you see, when it comes to the exam and you are analyzing, you can now use the kitchen concept, the kitchen analysis, and say that you can also use the juggler analysis and say that capital investment runs 7 to 11 years, 7 to 11 years. So we are in this same 2021, where up to 2021, 2022, where investment collapsed in Ghana. You saw it, right? So those kind of things. 7 to 11 years, something can happen. Like there is also a diminishing return for infrastructure entities in terms of economics in that regard. So that is it. So when you are spending, when you want to do housing because of fixed costs and all those things, you need to monitor that thing. All right. So basically, that is that. That's for economic. Then when it comes to social, he told you that you have two dimensions of the social, and that is the reason why sometimes the pestle can be steel and all those things. All right. So we are looking at the cultural thing. We are looking at population. Population. Look at the trend of. They said in Ghana, for example, the youth are plenty. So it means that if you are a business entity, your 10 years should target those the youth now, and you want to do a project for those who are 45 and things. That is it. That is how your target should be. So you look at it. I mean, social. All right. You look at all those things. Look at things. There is a second dimension of a social, which is about organizational networking, innovative power, and all those things. So electricity self is another thing that if there is how electricity stability affects social life and all those things. All right. And he talked about technology. Technology is grouped into 5 main areas: research and development, patenting, which is very, very critical when it comes to case study, patenting. So licensing and all those things, citation analysis, new product announcement, and all those things. All right. So when is it appropriate to actually release it into the media, and how media can cover? When media covers your thing, it grows up a lot. Look at ecological. Please, the ecological in terms of PESTEL analysis about green environment, green environment. So look at pollution, all right? Look at product stewardship and sustainability. IFRS S1, Mr. Animan. So look at it in those dimensions. So these three sorts of the challenges that comes, all right, onto it. As for legal, you have talked about it, and I think you are good to go. Now, the essence of this, I know everybody can write something under PESTEL. You are not supposed to explain, or you are not supposed to define what social means and all those things. It's not your job. Your job is application. Please, case study is not a what is explained paper. It's a pure application paper. Yeah. So basically, that is that. So these things I explained, and I'm not really interested in that. This is the question. It is 7:20. This is the question. Forgive me. I should have sent you this thing for you to print. Yes. So the way it is, you have to read the whole thing, and you have to bring out. So the question is saying that we should analyze PESTEL. If this is a whole thing altogether, and we are to actually analyze the PESTEL. I don't want to give this thing as an assignment. We are doing it right now, but I am also having struggles of how we are going to do it together, other than allowing you to read the thing and classify it in the various PESTEL analysis, and we will see how we can get some opportunities and threats out of it. So if we analyze the political, is there an opportunity inside it? Is there a threat we should be mindful of, like that? Each and every one like that. So how do you think we should go about it? How do you think we should go about it? Would you read it? Should I give you some
Let,
time to
let,
read?
let's break out and then we analyze it and come back.
Yeah, I think that is the most. How many minutes do you need for that?
20 or 30 minutes.
Guys, do you all agree to that? We are doing it now. Because when I say homework, I don't get feedback. We are doing it now. Please, do we all agree?
Yes, sir.
All right. So do it. I will guide you when you come back with what you did. All right. So let's say it is 7:20 now. So by 8 o'clock, so that when you come back, we use 15 to 30 minutes to finalize it. All right. So 8 o'clock, you should be done. Highlight the point. All right. Thank you. Okay, so the question says that in May 2015, the Alibaba Group, so that one, this is a group of company, all right? China's largest e-commerce company got a new chief executive. So, like I said, the entity in question will help you. So the new executive, Daniel Zhang, was 43 years old with a career in accounting firm Atta Anderson and PwC before joining Alibaba in 2007. Those of you who know Atta Anderson, the audit issue. Zhang's experience in international firms was reflected in an early statement. We must absolutely globalize. That should tell you something. He said this during a company's wide strategic session or strategy session. We will organize a global team and adopt a global thinking to manage the business and achieve the goal of global buy and sell. So if I tell you the vision of, I ask you a question like, what is the strategic vision of this company? What would you say? The vision, like we learned last week. What do you think will be the vision of? And who determines? Those people who do that are the people who are at the board of directors level, including the CEO. So when they are determining that, what do you think will be the vision? Vision is about going global, right?
Yes.
Becoming the, so you see, that is how the question is. That is how you learn. Like the first work I gave you. That's how it is. All right. It says that Zhang's appointment as CEO came at a difficult time. Alibaba had undergone the largest ever initial IPO. By now everybody must know what an IPO is. It's just a way of raising funds on the stock exchange market. So that means that it is their first time. All right. So it says that on the New York exchange market in 2014, achieving a total value of this $231 billion in euros. That's it. It says that this is in pounds, this is pounds, this is euro, the same amount in equivalent currencies. Okay, so but the first quarter of 2015 had seen profit at half those of the same period in the previous year. So it means nothing has really changed. It is even bad. The group share price was down a third from its post-IPO peak. Zhang's predecessor as CEO had been dismissed after just 2 years in the job. All right. The man who appointed Zhang, it was Jack Ma, the founder of Alibaba, just 60 years earlier. So this is, we have been seeing some names. All right. So we saw Zhang. We have seen this one too. Okay. Alibaba started as China's first business-to-business portal, connecting domestic manufacturers with overseas buyers. Since then, the group had grown in many directions. And these were the directions. 1688.com was found for business-to-business trade in China, within China. Alibaba Taobao marketplace serves a small business and individual. Tmall.com provides electronic shop. All these things are within the group. We have overseas companies such as Nike, Burberry, and Decathlon. So sorry, to reach Chinese customers. So it says that Juhua Suan is also another one who offers which offers daily deals on everything from toys to laptops. There is also Alipay, effective under MA's personal control. So the MA, which is the founder, is controlling that one, but functioning as a group equivalent to PayPal. So he has a competitor. So that should tell you that. So Alipay is a competitor with PayPal, which possesses 75% of the group transactions. One way or another, it is possible for Alibaba's customers to trade almost anything. The American Security Service has even set up a sting operation on Alibaba to catch traders selling this. Guys, this one
Yes, I like.
should be highlighted. Were you
Yes.
able to see that?
Yes, sir.
Where did you categorize this one?
The legal.
You categorize it under legal.
Yes.
Yes, legal.
All right. We will come to that. At the start of 2015, Alibaba had approaching 80% of e-commerce market in China, the largest e-commerce market in the world, and also had a strong position in Brazil and Russia. So this one too is another one. We will use it for something different. International e-commerce represented nearly 10% of the company's total sales of 76.2 billion yuan in the financial year ending 20. Then they have given you the equivalent in other currencies. Alibaba has always had international bent. Founder Jack Ma has started his career as an English language teacher in the city on Hangzhou, not far from Shanghai. As early as 2000, Ma had persuaded both the leading American investment bank, Goldman Sachs, and the Japanese internet giant, SoftBank, to invest. The then ascendant American internet company, Yahoo, had bought nearly a quarter of the group in 2005. Post IPO, SoftBank still held 32.4% shares and Yahoo owned 15%. Alibaba board counted as members of so Alibaba's group board counted as members of Yahoo's founders, Jerry Yang, SoftBank founder Masayoshi Son, and Michael Evans, the former vice chairman of the Goldman Sachs. Even so, Jack Ma was ambivalent about the Western investors. Let the Wall Street investors curse us if they wish. So, Ma proclaimed at a staff rally, we will still follow the principle of customer first, employees second, and investors third. Okay, so let me highlight this one.
The colors are not too clear.
Please, is somebody saying something?
I'm talking of the color that you use.
What has it done? You can't see.
I don't know what's better.
Strangely, overseas investors do not directly own stake in Alibaba instead of owning shares in a shell company, a so-called variable interest that has a contractual claim on Alibaba's profit. So, without cornerways, this one is cornerways. All right. The VIE structure is common way for the Western Limited listed Chinese firm to go around Beijing foreign ownership rules. Did you highlight that one too?
Yes, sir.
Under what? Under what?
Under legal too.
Also under legal.
Yes.
Okay. I hope Bubu can see. But the Chinese government could close the loophole. That is the problem. This is a so you are using a VIE system for your foreign owners through Beijing. All right, that is China. And it says that the Chinese government could close. When they will say the Chinese government could close, which one do you think you should be putting it under? Government could close the loophole at any time.
Political.
Good.
Political.
So you are doing something that can hurt you very soon. If so, that is it. This is how you see the things in the question. So you think you are just reading. Please, you are not just reading. Pay attention to what you read. Ironically, the most notorious VIE controversy so far involved Ali Babe's Jack Ma. Hiya. Which one is that? Which one is that? Yes. What affects reputation? Which one of them is reputation? Which one of the variables is reputation? Social. Good. Social. So you see, ironically, the most notorious VIE controversy. This is not giving you a nice media outlook. Yes, involved Ali Babe's Jack Ma, who in 2011 separated Alipay from the rest of the group without board approval. So that is something you must take note of. Now, that thing of without board approval, the statement of without board approval falls under which one? Without board approval will fall under which one? Hey, am I recording? Okay, I am. So this one is giving a poor reputational issue. And again, he also did something. So you can group this one under social. You can also group another one under corporate governance, which is legal. Do you understand? Please, do you understand? Okay, so Kofi said legal. Yeah, you found it. So that is that. Yahoo was only told about the spin-off 5 weeks after it happened. Kai. So more and more issues are coming up. So the spin-off will also be, you are not told about something, you are an investor. Yahoo own how many percent? Was it 15%? 15%, right?
Yes, 15%.
And you have done something behind his back. So which one again is that again? It's legal. Do you know that he can sue you, do certain things? All right.
Yes,
It says that the fund raising for Alipay's new parent company valued Alipay at nearly 50 billion. So please, these are things that you should be mindful of. Alibaba's relationship with the Chinese government is hard to read. Way you're politically affiliated. It's hard to read. Jack Ma insists that he has never taken loans or investment from the Chinese government or its bank. He had gone to the overseas investors instead. However, given a third of Chinese business activity is given that a third of Chinese business activity is carried out within the state's own enterprises, the government is bound to be in close liaison with the dominant national player of e-commerce. Do you remember that quadrant that I drew for you? Do you remember this quadrant? So you saw where it was under, where the state, yes, high. Have you seen that? So that is where he falls under, because it's an electronic database e-commerce activities they are doing. So there is a political kind of affiliation also over there. All right. I hope when you were reading, you were looking at it, because that is how strategic case study is. You see, what we do during the exam period is to analyze the case for you and tell you the most likely exam areas that you may get. But, Charlie, you have to understand the models with which you are going to use so that you can be able to get most of the marks that you need. All right. So that is that. So it says that his relationship with the Chinese government is very difficult to read. But just because he owns, according to the question, at the point, it was like saying that they own 90% of the e-commerce activity in the entire nation of China. When it happens like that, the government will be interested. And so the political what do you call it? Alliance is always there, whether you like it or not. All right. So that is that. That is that. Okay. And he says that Ma explained his philosophy as always try to stay in love with the government, but don't marry them. Uh-huh. It speaks to the whole thing that we have read. The Alibaba has built its political connections. Sun Chin-han, Hong Kong first chief executive. Hong Kong's first chief executive, after its return to China, served on the board of directors. Alibaba has also allied itself with several so-called pricelings, children of important political leaders. So you could see this is pure political. Pricelings investors include Weston Wen, son of the former Chinese premier Alvin Jian, grandson of the former Chinese president Akue Niate. He Jinlai, son of former Politburo member and a senior manager of the State Chinese Department Bank, and Jeffrey Zhang, the son of the former vice premier and senior manager of Chinese State Sovereign Wealth Fund, City Capital. So that is it. So you could see the political affiliations also over there. Given Chinese President Xi Jinping, that is at that time, sweeping political and economical reform campaign, there are no guarantees that Alibaba's position domestically. So this one too is a big problem, political problem. So it's a threat. It will be part of the threat. In 2015, Priceline investor Li Jianling's older brother was under house arrest because of accusation of corruption, which means technically Alibaba too is affiliated to corruption. It's another problem.
Yes.
So you get plenty things inside it. All right, you get plenty things. I will listen to what you wrote, okay, but I'll give you some of them. I'll highlight some of them. All right. So it said at the beginning of the year had also seen publications of an investigation by Chinese State Administration for Industry and Commerce into counterfeit goods. So this one too is another one. Counterfeit goods in groups Taobao sites, leading to a 10% fall in Alibaba's share price. So you see that, right? That's another one. Jack Ma commented on his relations with the Chinese regulators. So you are seeing regulators also inside it. All right. So take note of that. That over the past 2 years, not only was I a very controversial figure, but also these days, the disputes are bigger and bigger. We continue. I too felt the puzzled sometimes, wronged. How did these things become this way? Nonetheless, Ma promised a clean up the site. Even so, just a few months after, fake Apple watches were on sale on Taobao. Don't forget, this Taobao is also part of the group.
The group, yes.
Or their official line. So fake, you see, these things are things you must see. When you are reading them, you must see. President Xi Jinping reforms campaign were partly in response of changing the economic conditions of China. After 3 decades of double-digit growth, China's growth rate has now slowed to 7%. So which one would this one fall under? Which one?
Economic.
Yeah, right. Very good. You are doing well. Such growth is very. What is the importance of such growth? If the growth is going down, what do you think is the impact on the business? Disposable income will go down. You know that.
Yes.
It will go
The
down.
demand for the goods also go down.
Yes, demand for goods will also go down. That's the analysis you must draw. Such growth is very respectable by the world standard. Besides, faced with the rising domestic concern about the environment, President Xi was happy to restrain the expansion of high-polluting industries such as cement, coal, and steel. At the same time, Chinese government was promoting e-commerce as a key. So this one for economic growth. Which one will you put this one under?
That's a political.
Are you sure there is political in it?
Economic.
Economic growth, but that will be an opportunity.
Yeah. So, but apart from that, what do you see? When we say pollution, which one should come to your mind? Which of the
Environmental.
exactly?
Environment.
Exactly. But the environment is turning to a strength, like opportunity. Do you see that?
Yes.
Because this one is a tech business. The government is trying to use it for the promotion, and he is fighting those industries like the cement co. So the next time you see a question, which the industry or the business that you are reading about is in cement, is in coal, is in steel, environmental issues shouldn't elude you. All right. However, there are causes for concern. Many local authorities and firms had borrowed heavily on expectation of the higher growth. And there are fears that financial institutions has overlent. Some warn of the consequence of crash. Moreover, so all these things you are reading, crash and all these things, which one will you put it under? Economic crash and all those things. Moreover, it was hard to see China's growth rate picking up again on account that the aging population and the drying up of the traditional supply of young labor from rural villages. By 2015, the Chinese workforce was falling by about 3 million workers a year. Which one is that? The workers part, which one is that?
Social.
Yeah. You see demographics. So these are how you pick out the things. So it is not your job to go and define what social is. You are picking it from the case. All right. Although the government relaxed the famous one. Do you remember this famous one child per family rule in 2013? Did you remember it? Or you didn't hear this one?
No.
Oh, maybe you were young. It came to a time they said that in China, everybody must give birth to only one child.
Okay.
Yes. Oh, about 10 years ago, it happened. That is why Trump attributes the COVID-19 to China, because they feel like we need to control the population. So it was for them, but it broke out to the whole world. Yeah. Although the government relaxed on the famous one child per family rule in 2013, Chinese parents are still reluctant to have more children because of the cost of housing and good education in the main urban centers. All right. It is predicted that by early 2030s, about a quarter of Chinese population will be over 65 years, against the 17% in United Kingdom. Now, United Kingdom one, it is the Africans which are making it so. You know the number of Ghanaians youth that are only in UK. Slower economic growth in China overall is being matched by some slowing rate of growth of the Chinese e-commerce. So this is the table, the figure one. At the same time, Alibaba faced greater competition. A decade ago, Alibaba has seen off attack by American rival eBay in the Chinese market with a fierce price war. Jack Ma had proclaimed, eBay is a shark in the ocean. We are a crocodile in the Yangtze River. If we fight in the ocean, we will lose. But if we fight in the river, we will win. A combination of cultural, linguistic, and government policy factor kept Western internet companies at arm's length in the Chinese market. Google has been reduced to a market share of about 1%, while Amazon eventually chose to list on Alibaba's Tmall site after a decade of pushing its own venture in China. But now, Alibaba's home market dominance is facing a local challenge from aggressive DJ.com. So this one too is another one. Where will you put it under? Now that it is facing competition from DJ.com. So you have to bring it into, yeah. So what does DJ.com do, and where will you put it under? So it says that Why Alibaba still depends on Chinese unreliable postal service to get goods to customers. DJ.com, like Amazon, is investing in its own distribution centers and delivery services. As a result, DJ.com can promise the same day delivery in 43 of China's biggest cities. Moreover, DJ.com is well placed from the shift to from the shift to smartphones and e-commerce. Oga, smartphone and e-commerce, DJ and all those things. Which one will you put it under?
Technology.
Technology. Charlie, you guys are good. You guys are good. We will make it. If you carry on like this, we will make it. But when you were reading it, did you see all these things?
Just some few of them.
Is it? Highlight.
Not all.
Yeah. So it said that Tencent, Chinese largest social network and online games company, has taken 15% of the stake of DJ. More innovation. So I told you that citation, research and development, patenting, these are problems. When people start doing it, it means that they are coming to take over people. All right. Giving the challenger access to more than 400 million users of its WeChat phone messages app. WeChat allow users to scan product by product barcode with their smartphone, and so it means that you see all these things are speaking to the fact that they are bringing technology to drive away Alibaba's traditional ones. All right, Alibaba too has been entering the smartphone e-commerce, and in the early 2015, smartphone sales accounted for half of its retail Chinese sales, twice the proportion of a year earlier. So he is trying. He is trying. Smartphone screen size are less attractive to advertisers. An important part of Alibaba's traditional PC is based on an important part of Alibaba's traditional PC based on business model. Sorry, Eday.com's domestic growth in the year 2015 has been twice that of Alibaba. This is fierce competition because of technology. Although Eday.com is still only 15% of its arrival site, founder and chief executive Richard Liu had declared a goal of beating Alibaba to the top position. So fierce competition. The competition makes the two companies stronger. I'm actually enjoying competing. That's Alibaba's new chief executive Daniel Zhang faced many opportunities and threats in 2015. There were already promising signs in favor of the globalization strategy, though Alibaba's international flagship AliExpress had rapidly taken the number one position in Russia and also the number 3 in Brazil, with local users delighted to have direct access to cheap Chinese goods. One target now is the United States, only second to China in market size. The Yangtze River crocodile is aiming to attack the ocean shark in their home seas. You know, even in Ghana, you know the way the Chinese market is entering. You know, there are some young ladies who travel to China. Whatever you want to buy, you give them the money. They buy, they put it in the container, and they bring it there. You go and take your things. Me, I bought some. Whenever they go, I buy. I buy my washing machine is from China. Fridge, China, everything, China. When the person goes, even microwave, China, everything, China. Because it is very cheap. Very, very cheap. So it's like the Alibaba service now. So the lady goes, whatever you want to buy, you buy. She ships it to you. Yeah, so that's the thing. Anyway, so now let's try to write something down. So you see that in this exam, it is difficult to say you didn't write anything, and so you are failing. It is very difficult to fail in the case study. But as we go along, I think I should be doing more of the practical, right? So that we will learn
Yes, sir.
all of it. Is that not it?
Yes.
All right. Okay. Hey, what have I done? All right. I hope you can see the screen. So when you are analyzing with what we asked you to do, so all that you do is to do the PESTEL. So you just say PESTEL analysis. All right. And on the company, so on our company is Alibaba. So that is that. So you put in political. All right. So the things that we saw under political, if you remember, I remember the government relationship, that with those top-notch people. And you also remember something called, is it VIE? What was it? It's VIE, right?
It's VIE,
Yeah.
variable interest entity.
Yeah. So he was using the variable interest entity to circumvent the restrictions of the foreign investors coming to invest in it. All right. So,
Yes.
and the threat of that was that there can be a shutdown because it said that the Chinese government can close that loophole. So that thing that he was doing is a threat. It was a threat. So you have to mention that. Okay. It was a threat. He was using it to kind of bypass the problem, but because there is a potential threat of block of the loophole, it can affect him. So you highlight it. So I think so, like something like that, variable interest entities, you can categorize that in as, let's say, government regulations. So that you explain that he is using the VIE to actually circumvent the restriction. All right, but he can be exposed, and those investors too can be are exposed to the risk. All right, so basically that is that. And you also saw his relationship with the government. All right, I think he made even a quote, so you can say relationship with government, another one. Then if you remember, I think that there was also a scrutiny on him, and that caused his shares to fall, especially from the US part. Do you remember?
Yes.
So yeah, so international, how will you call it? So let's say international tensions, all right, or international scrutiny on him.
Okay.
So then you go to the case. So when you write this, go and pick that part of the case to buttress it. Just write that part of the case and put it there. When you come to government relationship, you just say that he has relationship with almost the top people in the nation. However, even with this connection, the president is coming to fight the anti-corruption stuff because one of his businesses was kind of related to the corruption, and the government was about to, being politically affiliated is good because you are safe. However, the government didn't mind, and he was coming to do a corruption check on them. So that is where the problem starts. All right. So that's how you analyze it. It was in the case. We also in the case. All right. And this is the part. The American scrutiny service has been that part, the international scrutiny that was on him. When we went to, so if you pick up 2, 3 points there, you are fine. When we went to economics, I think it was clear, right? It was clear. What did you see in economics? The growth, right? The
Yes, the group.
slowdown, yeah, economic growth. So the economic growth declined to 7%, and you are going to explain that thing as leading to affecting spending, disposable income. All right. So that is that. And you saw that because they were not giving birth, there was high cost of labor. Did you see that one too? Do you remember that one?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, there was high cost of labor, something we read. So that is how you pay. What else do you remember about the economics? I think that we were told that he was it Brazil, Russia, he was improving at that side, right? So he had some foreign recognition. recognition, which is good. It's a strength. So it's opportunity, sorry. But these ones were threats. So part of it will be threat, part of it will be opportunity. So that is how you are looking at the thing. All right. So this one, I think it was Brazil, he was third or something. Russia too, we read it in there. All right. So you just bring those parts from that part. All right. So basically that is that. What else? Pestel. So PES. As for the social, I think it was plenty. Remember the demographics? Do you remember?
Yes.
We saw some old age VBB, something like that.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, the aging population. And you saw the smartphone thing, the shift to smartphone. That one too can be in over here social, because social media, you remember I told you anything media, social media. So social media, but that same thing can also be categorized, and you can use it as technology. If you saw what we read over there? Okay, so the technology aspect too is there. All right, and I think that there was also, even this high standard cost of living, it was also affecting the way of life of the people. It says something about education and stuff. And was it education, and was it real estate, accommodation? It was there. We read something like that. Hmm.
Yeah. I think it was in regards to them not wanting to give birth
Yes,
because
so
of
that is also a social thing. Do you remember?
Yes.
So
yes.
birth regulations. All right. So bring it out, and that thing can be a threat. And because people are not giving birth for you to even have market. Yeah, so that is it. Yeah, so, and technology, as for technology, so you can use the smartphone thing. He faced fierce competition. All right, so as for Alibaba, there was a distribution gap, because those people were using the technology to beat his delivery. He says that those people were captured up to 43 states in China, and they were doing same day, while Alibaba was still doing the post office thing. So that is something that but we also saw that even though that exists, he was also doing innovational changes. So that innovational changes that he was also doing. All right. It's just that the man was doing twice as them. That's the JD.com. Was it JD.com? Yeah. And even his Alipay too was facing competition. All right. So those are the things that you will talk about. What about the environment? The environment opened up an opportunity for him. I told you the government came in with green policy. So he was fighting other industries, but it didn't come to Ali Baba's own. So that is an opportunity. So basically, that is that. And the story even said that it was in line with Ali Baba's something technology, carbon technology. So he didn't have any big problem about that. So those things are opportunities for him. All right. So I told you, do pollution, sustainability, and product stewardship. Those three things. All right. Sustainability. Alibaba has the potential of sustainability, because if you check the concept that was described in the Alibaba's business model was in support of doing that transition to protect the global environmental priorities. It was there. All right. So that is what you use. Then lastly, I think we have legal, right? As for the legal, we saw it plenty. We saw that legal thing plenty. We had corporate governance issues, because he did something behind the investors' back. So you highlight that one, corporate governance issues. All right. And I think that they said he also did a launch of something counterfeit. Did you
Yes.
see that one? Yes,
Yes.
counterfeit, which can cause legal problem. Okay, so basically that is that. All right, and I think that we also talked about the legal aspect of the political thing that was happening here, using the VIE bypass something and increasing the risk of people. All right, so basically that is that. All right. It's practical, and I think every day we should try on that. So, like God willing, next week we will look at two things because of the way the things went. So you will use my friend's video, B2U. We will look at the industry aspect, how we will use the Potters 5 force also to analyze the thing. Then we will use, I will send you all those, my friend's video that he has done. All right. So inbound logistics, outbound logistics, we are going to use the value chain. All right. So when we come internal resource, we are even going to use balance scorecard also inside it. We will stay corporate governance will take the whole day because there's a lot on corporate governance. And if you are doing audit, this is your chance because corporate governance, it is a 10 marker in audit, but here too, it is also like 10 to 20 marks in your work here. So it is something we will look at. As for the culture, it is history, culture, and ethics. Yes. So we will add ethics to it. Yes, it also has marks. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is it. I hope this approach helps, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yes, sir.
So gradually, we'll be moving. I think that, yeah. So, do you know how to do investment appraiser? All of you, do you? Because,
From FM.
okay. So let me end this part here. Let's have that discussion.